Hi, welcome back to class. And this week we are moving on to Chapter 14. We're going to look at population, urbanization, and social movements. This week we're actually going to just look at about half of the chapter. So we're going to look at the population and urbanization area. And next week we'll move on to social movements. So this week what we're going to do is we're going to respond to the Chapter 13 discussion threads. And you're going to read Chapter 14, read the whole thing through. I know this test is going to go over most of the chapter, and what I'm doing is I'm reserving the rest of the chapter for next week on social movements. One thing that I think in this kind of class is, it's nice to know all this stuff, but it's even better to know about how people take this information and use it to hopefully push for some change to make society a little better. So we're going to get into that next week, and that's usually an area people have a lot of fun with in this class. I think it's a good idea when you're taking a class to know how it pertains to you. And if you turn the news on, you see social movements on television pushing for different things, and you'll be able to have a better understanding of what they are trying to accomplish and why they exist. But we'll get into that next week. I know this week's kind of a weird week where school is only taking place for the first 3 days. So I made this a little less of a week for you to work into. So you're going to read the chapter, and then there's going to be a short article to read and a crash course video that corresponds with the discussion. And so our discussion is going to look at the theories of Malthus. And then there's a Chapter 14 quiz, and then just a reminder to complete the Chapters 9 to 13 Dropbox. So this week is very straightforward. So we have an article here and our discussion forum here on Malthus, and the questions are going to look at his view on human population. And you're going to discuss how time challenged his theory. But it's a theory that is still discussed today, so I want you to have another discussion thread on why we still discuss this theory. So why is it still relevant to the field of sociology? I told you guys before the beginning of the semester that in sociology, we study big thinkers, and Malthus was one of them. So, again, I want you to have a well thought out initial post of at least 250 words. I will put that on the discussion. And we have a quiz that goes over most of the chapter. Again, I want you to read the whole chapter, though. And there's the Dropbox assignment, again, for chapters 9 through 13. So make sure you get that completed. The reason why I'm having you do these Dropbox, I told you this already, is to have a basis for doing your paper on. So going into next week, I will have a screencast up explaining what the paper is, and it will be due at the end of the semester. But with these 3 short assignments you did, it will make it a lot easier to write. So there's not much to really say. I'm really enjoying the work you're doing. I do want you as a class to pat yourselves in the back. I know we cover a lot of broad topics in this class, so what we're doing is each one of these weeks that we go over is actually its own class in the university setting. So we have, for example, there's a class this semester being offered in social deviance. Stratifications being offered this semester. Next semester, I'm teaching a class in social policy, race and ethnic relations. I teach that as well. So we're touching on these different ideas that are discussed more in depth in college, and this introductory class actually gets you a foot in the door to any of those classes. So if you are interested in moving forward, you can go ahead and see what's available next semester with me or another teacher that is going over any of these subjects. But like I said, I know this is a very broad area of study for a lot of people. We're touching on a lot of different things. And I do know you've written a lot. So between your Dropbox, the assignments that you did, and your discussion posts, there's a lot of writing that has went into this class. I am really proud of you as a class. You're doing a great job. And the grades actually reflect that. This class had a very high number of students with A's and B's, and that's all due to your hard work. So I thank you for your work this semester. We have a few weeks left to go, and I'm very happy with what's been done. So if you have any questions, make sure you get in touch with me. Again, send me an email, and I'd love to get back to you. And going into next week, you will have more information on that final project. So keep up the good work, and thank you so much.